Me cooking 10,000 watermelon in this room. Me cooking 10,000 pizza in this room. Me cooking 10,000 sushi in this room. Me cooking 10,000 taco in this room. Me cooking 10,000 steak in this room. Me cooking 10,000 chicken in this room. Me cooking 10,000 shrimp in this room. Me cooking 10,000 salmon in this room. Me cooking 10,000 carrot in this room. Me cooking 10,000 apple in this room. Me cooking 10,000 banana in this room. Me cooking 10,000 pineapple in this room. Me cooking 10,000 orange in this room. Me cooking 10,000 strawberry in this room. Me cooking 10,000 blueberry in this room. Me cooking 10,000 raspberry in this room. Me cooking 10,000 mango in this room. Me cooking 10,000 pear in this room. Me cooking 10,000 peach in this room. Me cooking 10,000 cherry in this room. Me cooking 10,000 plum in this room. Me cooking 10,000 grape in this room. Me cooking 10,000 kiwi in this room. Me cooking 10,000 papaya in this room. Me cooking 10,000 pomegranate in this room. Me cooking 10,000 avocado in this room. Me cooking 10,000 broccoli in this room. Me cooking 10,000 cauliflower in this room. Me cooking 10,000 kale in this room. Me cooking 10,000 spinach in this room. Me cooking 10,000 green bean in this room. Me cooking 10,000 tomato in this room. Me cooking 10,000 cucumber in this room. Me cooking 10,000 bell pepper in this room. Me cooking 10,000 onion in this room. Me cooking 10,000 garlic in this room. Me cooking 10,000 corn in this room. Me cooking 10,000 potato in this room. Me cooking 10,000 yam in this room. Me cooking 10,000 sweet potato in this room. Me cooking 10,000 carrot in this room. Me cooking 10,000 beetroot in this room. Me cooking 10,000 parsnip in this room. Me cooking 10,000 asparagus in this room. Me cooking 10,000 mushroom in this room. Me cooking 10,000 truffle in this room. Me cooking 10,000 oyster in this room. Me cooking 10,000 clam in this room. Me cooking 10,000